Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I have been slacking. That's my fault. And that's just me being accountable. You know, you gotta be honest with yourself. I have been slacking, but that's on me. Finna pick back up, you know, having a 9 to 5 and then, you know, trying to do other entrepreneurial stuff outside of that. It does get a little bit, you know, hectic. So I do, you know, try to find time to read. So I actually enjoy doing this and I wanna do more books. So, you know, we gotta lock in. But that's neither here nor there, y'all. It's currently March 10th. It's 6:55 p.m. as y'all can see. I'm going to go ahead and start the 15-minute timer. I already know the routine. 15 minutes. Go ahead and lock in. So, resuming from the last video, we are currently in chapter 11 on page 242. How to turn defeat into victory. And it says, this didn't stop Mr. Williams from pursuing his goal to be a minister and a counselor. When he was graduated from college, and with honors too, Mr. Williams said he thought his blindness will actually be an asset in my career. I can never judge by appearances. Therefore, I can always give a person a second chance. My blindness keeps me from cutting myself off from a person because of how the way he looks. I want to be the kind of person to whom anyone can come and feel secure to express himself. Isn't that a magnificent living example of cruel, bitter defeat being turned into victory? Defeat is only a state of mind and nothing more. I'm gonna say that one more time. Defeat is only a state of mind and nothing more. One of my friends, whom is a substantial and successful investor in the stock market, carefully appraises each investment decision in the light of his past experiences. One time he told me, when I first started investing 15 years ago, I really got signed a few times. Like most amateurs, I wanted to get rich quick. Instead, I got broke quick. Facts, bro. It can literally snap just like that. Literally. But that didn't stop me. I knew that basic strengths of economy and that over the long pull, well-selected stocks are about the best investment anybody can make. So I just regarded those bad investments as part of the cost of my education. He laughed. On the other hand, I know a number of people whom made an unwise investment or two and are strictly anti-securities. Rather than analyze their mistakes and join in a good thing, they reach the completely false conclusion that investing in common stocks is just a form of gambling and sooner or later everybody loses. Decide right now to salvage something from every setback. He said decide right now to salvage something from every setback. Next time things seem to go wrong on the job or at home, calm down and find out what caused the problem. This is the way to avoid making the same error twice. Being licked is valuable if we learn from it. If you learn to fail, it's not going to happen again, especially like if there's a certain math problem that, you know, you can't get it. And then you finally find the solution to it. Next time you see a problem just like that, it's going to be easier to, you know, solve. So, you know, literally come to the conclusion that where there's a will, there's a way. You always can find a solution to a problem. Simple. You just have to have that state of mind to know everything's going to be good, you know? Praise to the Most High as well. We human beings are curious creatures. We're quick to accept full credit for our victory. When we win, we want the world to know about it. It's natural to want others to look at you and say, there goes the fellow who did such and such. But human beings are equally quick to blame someone else to each setback. It's natural for a salesman to blame customers when sales are lost. It's natural for executives to blame employees or other executives when things get out of gear. It's natural for husbands to blame their wives and wives to blame their husbands for quarrels and family problems. It is true that in this complex world, others may trip us. But it is also true that more often than we not trip ourselves. We lose because of personal inadequacy, some personal mistake. Condition yourself for success this way. Remind yourself that if you want to be as nearly perfect as humanly possible, be objective. Put yourself in a glass tube and look at yourself as a disinterested third party will look in at the situation. If you have a weakness that you've never noticed before, if you have, take action to correct it. Many people become so accustomed to themselves that they fail to see ways for improvement. What? Literally. People get so egotistical and they think that everything in their life is good and this and that. It's like it's always room for improvement. Literally a couple chapters back, you know, David J. Schwartz said capacity is a state of mind. It's always time to learn new things, do new things, see new things. If you're limiting yourself from changing, you're gonna always feel stuck. You're literally gonna always feel stuck. The great Metropolitan Opera star Rise Stevens said in this Reader's Digest, July 1955, at the unhappiest moment of her life, she received the best advice she'd had. Early in her career, Mrs. Stevens lost the Metropolitan Opera audition of the air. After losing, Miss Stevens was bitter. I longed to hear, she said, that my voice was really better than the other girls, that the verdict was grossly unfair, and that I had just lacked the right connections to win. But Miss Stevens' teacher didn't coddle her. Instead, she said to Miss Stevens, "My dear, have the courage to face your faults." Facts. Facts. Just like I told y'all in the beginning, I have been slacking. I know that. I've told myself that time and time again. It's like, bro, you can't be, trying to be consistent and then being inconsistent. I learned this from a YouTuber. I forgot. I'm going to link it down below. But he said, light and darkness can't coexist. So if you want light in your life, be consistent. But if you want to mix it with darkness, it's not going to work. You're either going to be consistent or inconsistent. Much as I wanted to fall back on self-pity, continued Miss Stevens, those words kept coming back to me. The night they woke me up, I couldn't sleep until I faced my shortcomings. Lying there in the dark, I asked myself, why did I fail? How can I win next time? And I admitted to myself that my voice range was not as good as it had to be, and that I must learn more roles. Miss Stevens went on to say how facing her faults not only helped her to succeed on stage, but also helped her win more friends and develop a more pleasing personality. Being self-critical is constructive. It helps you to build the personal strength and efficiency needed for success. Blaming others is destructive. You gain absolutely nothing from proving that someone else is wrong. Be constructively self-critical. Don't run away from inadequacies. Be like the real professionals. Seek out their faults and weaknesses, then correct them. That's what makes them professional. Don't, of course, try to find your faults so you can say to yourself, here's another reason why I'm a loser. Instead, view your mistakes as here's another way to become a bigger winner. You have to tell yourself, hey, I got it. I can do it next time. That's why I feel like people who have done sports, they know what it feels like to lose. So it's like, if we just lost this game, hey, next game, we finna go at their next. And that's the type of mentality you gotta have when you have, certain problems that you feel like, is smuggling you and it's putting you in this hole. It's like, you're gonna get through it. You just have to analyze and delegate, time to, change your surroundings and your situation and your environment even. The great Orville Herbert once said, a failure is a man who has blundered but not able to cash in on the experience. Often we blame luck for our setbacks. We say, well, that's the way the ball bounces, or let it go at that. But stop and think. Balls don't bounce in certain ways for uncertain reasons. The bounce of a ball is determined by three things: the ball, the way that it is thrown, and the surface it strikes. Definite physics laws explain the bounce of a ball, not luck. Suppose the SAA were to issue a report saying, we're sorry that the crash occurred. But folks, that's just the way the ball bounces. You say it's time to get a new CAA. Or suppose a doctor explained to a relative, I'm awfully sorry, I don't know what happened. It's just one of those things. You switch doctors when you or a relative became ill. The way that the ball bounces approach teaches us nothing. It's kind of like, he's basically said, like, it is what it is. Like, that's kind of like what the ball bounces. Like, that's the correlation you could say. So if you don't understand, like, the way that the ball bounces, you could just say, it is what it is. We're no better prepared to avoid a duplication of the mistake the next time we face a similar situation. The football coach who takes Saturday's loss with, well, boys, that's the way the ball bounces, isn't helping the team and avoids the same mistakes the next Saturday. Like I just said, if you think of it like it is what it is, you're not going to learn anything from it. But if you use conductive criticism and self-preservation and self-improvement tactics to know, hey, maybe I can do it this way next time and see how this works, Orville Herbert, mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, for 17 consecutive years, is one of the nation's most colorful and respected urban administrators. For 10 years prior to becoming mayor of Dearborn, Mr. Herbert could have used the bad luck excuse and stepped out of politics. Before becoming a perennial? I don't think I've ever heard this word before. Perennial. How do you say this? Perennial. Okay, and it says lasting or existing for a long or apparently infinite time. So he was probably winning consecutively, I say. So Before coming a perennial winner, Orville Hubert was unlucky 3 times in trying to get a nomination for mayor. 3 times he tried to get the nomination for the state. Once he was beaten in the race for a congressional nomination. But Orville Hubert studied these setbacks. He regarded them as a part of his political education, and today he is one of the sharpest, most unbeatable politicians in local government. Instead of blaming luck, research those setbacks. If you lose, learn. If you lose, learn. A lot of folks go through life explaining their mediocrities with hard luck, tough luck, sour luck, bad luck. These people are like children, immature, searching for sympathy. Without realizing it, they fail to see opportunities to grow bigger, stronger, more self-reliant. Stop blaming luck. Blaming luck never got anyone where he wanted to go. Stop blaming luck. Stop. It's a reason why this happened. It's a reason why this. It's a reason why that. And if you figure out why the reason is because of whatever it is, you're not only going to understand how you can prevent that, but you're going to know how to move forward. Like, that's all it is. It's all mindset. A friend who was a literal consultant, writer, and a critic chatted with me recently about what it takes to be a successful writer. A lot of would-be writers, he explained, simply aren't serious about wanting to write. They try for a little while, but give it up when they discover there's real work involved. I haven't much patience with these people because they're looking for a shortcut, and there isn't one. See, a lot of people want a shortcut to this and this. How did you do this? How did you do this? Like, it takes real work to get where you want to get to. Like, that's the bottom line. It takes real work. Real work, I'm telling you. But he went on. I don't want to imply that pure persistence is enough. The plain truth is, often isn't. The plain truth is, often it isn't. Just now, I'm working with a fellow who's written 60 short fiction pieces but hasn't sold one. Obviously, he is persistent in his goal to become a writer, but this fellow's problems is that he uses the same... My bad, y'all. I gotta finish this. But he uses the same basic approach in everything he writes. He developed a hard format for his stories. He has never experimented with his material, his plots and his characters, and perhaps even style. So we're gonna stop right there, y'all. We're gonna resume on page 247 in chapter 11, how to turn defeat into victory. Hope y'all had a blessed and prosperous day, man. Hope y'all got some type of value in today's read. And hey, be persistent. Light and darkness cannot coexist. So if y'all think that being consistent in your life and then you drive back and you drift off and being inconsistent, it can be either or. And it's all mindset, guys. It's all mindset. And I feel like each time I'm gonna start reading more self-preservation and self-help books because it's all in the mind, guys. Like, literally, if you can do it, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow.